Hey guys, I hope you are doing so well. My name is Jen Grieves and I've lived with type 1 diabetes for 22 years, and today I'm trying the Dexcom G5 CGM for the very first time. The Dexcom G5 is a CGM, or continuous glucose monitor. This means that instead of the traditional finger prick blood testing, I will be able to track my blood sugars more dynamically. Instead of one glucose reading that's a single moment in time, the CGM will allow me to spot patterns, see where my blood glucose is at, see where it's headed, and see how quickly it's headed there. Hopefully this means I will be able to respond and react more proactively to my blood sugar levels in order to keep them in range, as opposed to reacting to blood sugar highs or blood sugar lows once I've got there. This feels like quite a big day. In 22 years of living with type 1 diabetes, I've never had access to a CGM or tried a CGM. I've heard great things, but unfortunately the kit is quite expensive and it's just something that's never come my way. I've used a flash glucose monitoring system, which is slightly different in the Freestyle Libre, and I've made plenty of videos on that if you want to check those out. But I've never had this kind of advanced data before, so pretty big deal. The technology that's now available when it comes to managing type 1 diabetes is absolutely incredible, but not everyone around the world is able to access it in the same way. Just to be straight, Dexcom have sent me this starter kit to try, which I'm extremely grateful for. They haven't paid me to say anything. What I'm so excited about is that I get to react and respond to this going in completely blind. I've never used one, I've never played around with one. I don't know how it's going to make me feel. I don't know how it's going to affect my diabetes management, and I'm just excited to see what happens, but I will, as ever, be completely upfront and honest. On that note, I am slightly apprehensive about just a couple of things when it comes to trying the Dexcom. Firstly, the amount of data it's going to give me. I'm not someone that sits and tracks patterns in my blood sugar levels. I probably should. My HbA1c is decent, but I just like to do what I need to do to manage my diabetes to the best of my ability and give it the amount of brain energy that I can before I then go on and get on with the rest of my life. I'm very respectful of my type 1 diabetes. I've learned to live with it and care about myself and my body, but my diabetes does not get to take up all of my brain energy all of the time. So the Dexcom is going to give me a lot of information. This will either help me to manage my diabetes better and easier, which is what I'm hoping for, or just at first maybe it might be a little bit overwhelming. We shall see. Secondly, I already wear an Omnipod insulin pump, and now with the Dexcom G5, this is going to be a second piece of equipment that is stuck to my body. It took me a very long time to come around to the idea of an insulin pump, just because, slightly vain, yes, but also completely valid, I at times am a bit unsure about having things attached to me. The benefits of the insulin pump way outweigh any of those concerns, but it was a big consideration for me when taking on the insulin pump. It's not a huge concern, but it's just one that I think it's worth noting because it's valid and it's real, and I'm sure a lot of other people feel the same. Lastly, the alarms. I'm not a fan of my Omnipod alarm at all. It only goes off every 3 days, but it's not a welcome sound. I know it's necessary, but it's still there. The Dexcom, I know you can turn most of the alarms off, and again, it might be a benefit that I don't need to think about my diabetes until the Dexcom alerts me to the fact that I'm either going high or low. But I wonder how I'm going to feel when my phone is buzzing away in the middle of a meeting or something important like dinner. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I thought it'd be fun for you to experience this with me as a complete first timer to the CGM, and let's just see what happens. I'm just going to quickly run through what I've been sent. First of all, it's the sensors. There's 4 in this box. Each of these I think is supposed to last a week, but I've been sent quite a few tips and tricks on how to make them last longer. Probably not the official line, but there's nothing official about this, is there? Then I've got the transmitter. This lasts a lot longer, I think up to 3 months. This, you switch between the sensors as you replace them, you then move the transmitter over. So pretty important, that bit there. This also is what speaks to the phone app. Then there's all this literature. Quite a bit going on here. The quick start guide was what I immediately turned to because it was nice and easy to digest and I could understand it, and this is what you need really to get yourself up and running. So that was pretty good. Then there's this much more hefty manual. I've sat and flicked through it, but it's hard to sit and digest this before it's actually relevant to me. So once I'm up and running and things start occurring, I will be referring to this a lot, I'm sure. There's also the online tutorials, but I do appreciate having both a mix of stuff to read and stuff to watch. So thank you, Dexcom, nice work. Okay, I'm going for a stand-up approach. I don't know if this is the right approach, but I feel like it might be easier for you to see what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm only gonna insert this sensor once, all being well. I've got the YouTube tutorial up from Dexcom here. It's called Inserting Your Sensor, Dexcom G5 Mobile CGM, and then I've also got my quick start guide. So between the two, hopefully I can figure this out.
First, wash your hands with soap and water before opening the sensor package.
Okay, looks like this, like something you might get in a chemistry lesson. It's kind of cool, it's like a mad contraption. The approved site for a Dexcom sensor is your stomach area. That's actually where I normally wear my Omnipod insulin pump, but you need to keep the sensor at least 3 inches away from your insulin pump or injection sites. So I'm trialing my Omnipod, just there, which so far so good. This leaves the stomach area clear for the Dexcom sensor.
The ideal sensor insertion site for you may be based on your body type, activity, sensitivities, and other personal traits.
Lots of people have recommended using skin adhesive and various other things to help keep the sensor in place. I haven't got any of that stuff for this first sensor. I'm just going to go in with what the tutorial is telling me, but this is definitely something I'm going to explore this week and we'll try with later sensors. The names that keep coming up are OpSite and Skin Tack. I'll leave links to those below. And also I've looked at the insulin life patches, so if anyone's got any experience of using those, do let me know. But for now, we're just going in with the sensor adhesive. I'm going to clean the site with an alcohol wipe. I've decided to go on this side. I've got quite a protruding rib, so I'm going just underneath there, and hopefully it doesn't hit too many waistbands. This is a site I use for my Omnipod quite regularly, so I think it'll be okay. Right, now I'm going to peel off this adhesive here. Hopefully I don't mess this up because it's quite important. Oh God, she says, here we go. Lovely. Right, and it says, place it horizontally onto the skin. And stick down the adhesive. The next step is to remove the safety lock. It says just to pull it out, so come on. There we go. Place the fingers of one hand at the edge of the white adhesive. You may pinch up your skin using this hand. Meep. Place 2 fingers above the collar and your thumb on the white plunger. Push down the plunger. You should hear 2 clicks. Here we go. That didn't hurt at all. Was expecting a lot more than that. Okay, we're in. Now what? Imagine if I got stuck here. Slightly awkward. Move your 2 fingers from above the collar to below the collar. Pull the collar back towards your thumb until you hear 2 clicks, or you cannot pull back anymore. All right. Squeeze the ribbed tabs on the side of the sensor pod. Okay, right, I can see the ribbed tabs. I'm gonna get my lady on the video to demonstrate this one as well.
Sensor applicator, use your other hand to squeeze the ribbed tabs on the sides of the sensor pod.
Okay, I think I've got it. We're releasing the applicator, so we squeeze these ribbed tabs, she says, and rock the applicator out. Ta-da! Beautiful. Okay, so I'm left with the sensor intact here, this plastic tab, which I think is the lever to get the transmitter in, and this flappy bit, which I guess is the important bit. Going to grab the transmitter out of its shiny box. Looks very important and something I shouldn't break if at all possible. Give the back a rub with the alcohol wipe, good and proper there. Want it to be nice and clean. Let it dry. Solid. Great weather we're having at the moment, right?
You may want to pinch up on your skin at the front tips of the white adhesive. Use a finger to hold the transmitter in place. With your other hand, move the transmitter latch forward until you hear 2 clicks. This may take some force.
Okay, I can't exactly see how that's gonna completely fit in there, but I'm just gonna follow the guide and hold this down, pinch a bit of skin, hold the transmitter down and push this forward. Yeah! Was not expecting that to work. Okay, great. Okay, phew, we're in, we're on, we're good. Final step, twist off the latch. So, bloody did it, didn't I? Oh my God. There we go. First Dexcom sensor and transmitter successfully inserted. And here we are, fully bionic. Left to right. Check it out. Feel pretty badass actually. I'm really pleased with how that went. It was completely pain-free and obviously it's quite an odd looking contraption, so to try it and figure it out the first time is a little bit random, but between the tutorial and the quick start guide, I found that really straightforward. So the next thing I've got to do is make the Dexcom talk to my phone. Dexcom G5 Mobile, as the name suggests, runs completely off an app, which is amazing as it's not yet another device to add to my collection. There's already a lot to think about when it comes to type 1 diabetes, so just having my phone there to monitor my blood glucose is really cool. I set this up yesterday. It was really quick and easy to do. I just downloaded the app, put some details in, and also set my high and low alarms. I feel like they may change depending on how often the alarms go off, but again, that's something I want to just try and then tweak as I go along once I'm experiencing the Dexcom itself. It currently says transmitter not found because I set it up yesterday and it didn't have a transmitter to connect to, so I'm going to try and get it to connect now. So it's actually just popped up completely independently saying Dexcom PH would like to pair with your iPhone. Pairing was successful, great news, and now it's asking me to tap to start a 2-hour sensor warm-up. So what have I got to lose? Let's do it. Right. So I'm not going to receive sensor readings or alerts until the warm-up and 2 BG meter values are complete. We will notify you when your sensor warm-up is complete. Well, thank you very much, Dexcom. I appreciate your notification. This is great, super easy to set up. An idiot like me can understand it, and now I know for 2 hours I don't need to worry, and this is just doing its thing. I'm gonna leave this video here. I hope you've really enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you have. I will be bringing you so many more videos as I experience the Dexcom, figure out what it does and its capabilities, and see how it affects my diabetes management. So stay tuned for those. I hope to see you very soon. Take care.